Today, we re-diving into a topic that probably brings back a flood of memories for most of us. The teacher's pet. You know, the one always has their hand up, knows all the answers, and seems to be the teacher's favorite. We've all encountered them. Maybe we've been them, or maybe we've just rolled our eyes at them. But have you ever stopped to think about what's really going on in their heads? What is the psychology behind the classic teacher's pet? Let's get into it. First, let's break down the stereotype. The teacher's pet is often seen as a brown-noser, someone who's just trying to curry favor for better grades or special treatment. And sure, there might be a grain of truth to that for some individuals. But psychology suggests there's usually a lot more going on beneath the surface. For many of these students, it's not about manipulation. It's about a genuine desire for approval and validation from authority figures. Think about it from a developmental perspective. For a child or a teenager, a teacher is one of the most significant authority figures outside of their family. Gaining a teacher's approval can feel incredibly rewarding. It can boost self-esteem and create a sense of security and competence in the often chaotic world of school. This desire for validation isn't necessarily a negative trait. In fact, it can be a powerful motivator for academic achievement. These students often have a high need for achievement, and they see pleasing the teacher as a clear pathway to success. Another key psychological driver is a deep-seated love for learning. Let's be honest, some kids just genuinely find the subject matter fascinating. They aren't raising their hand to show off. They're raising it because they are truly engaged, curious, and want to participate. Their enthusiasm is real. They do the extra credit because they enjoy the challenge. They ask questions after class because they want to understand the topic more deeply. For these students, the teacher's pet label is an unfortunate side effect of their intellectual curiosity. They're not trying to get ahead of others. They're just trying to get ahead in their own understanding. We also have to consider personality traits. Research in personality psychology tells us that certain traits, like high conscientiousness, are strongly linked to academic success. Conscientious individuals are organized, diligent, and responsible. They're the types to have their homework done days in advance and their notes perfectly color-coded. This isn't about sucking up. It's just who they are. Their natural disposition makes them ideal students from a teacher's perspective, which can easily be misinterpreted by peers as trying to be a favorite. They follow the rules and meet expectations because it aligns with their internal drive for order and duty. Then there's the social angle. Sometimes being a teacher's pet can be a coping mechanism. School can be a tough social environment. For students who struggle to fit in with their peers or feel socially anxious, the classroom can become a safe haven. Building a strong, positive relationship with a teacher provides a stable and predictable social interaction. The teacher offers a non-judgmental, supportive presence that might be missing from their peer relationships. In this context, staying after class to talk isn't about getting an advantage. It's about finding a moment of connection and feeling seen and valued in a way they might not experience in the lunchroom or on the playground. However, we can't ignore the potential downsides. The constant need for external validation can be problematic. If a student's self-worth is entirely tied to a teacher's praise, they might struggle when they face criticism or encounter a teacher who is less forthcoming with compliments. This can lead to anxiety, perfectionism, and a fear of failure. They might become so focused on getting the right answer that they become afraid to take intellectual risks or think creatively. The pressure to maintain their status as the good student can be immense and, frankly, exhausting. The label itself can also be socially damaging. Being branded a teacher's pet can lead to social exclusion, teasing, and even bullying. Peers might see them as arrogant or as traitors to the student us against them mentality. This can be incredibly isolating and painful, forcing the student to choose between their academic inclinations and their social life. It's a tough spot to be in, especially during the formative years of adolescence, when fitting in feels like the most important thing in the world. So, how do teachers play into all of this? A good teacher recognizes these different motivations. They can nurture a student's love for learning while also encouraging them to become more independent thinkers. They can provide validation without creating an unhealthy dependency. They can also subtly manage the classroom dynamics to prevent the teacher as pet from being singled out. For instance, they can create more opportunities for group work and peer-to-peer learning, helping to bridge the social gap between the eager student and their classmates. A skilled educator knows how to make every student feel valued, not just the one who always raises their hand first. It's also worth noting how this dynamic evolves. The primary school teacher's pet who brings the teacher an apple is very different from the high school student who engages in intellectual debates with their history teacher. As we mature, our relationship with authority changes. For many, that intense need for a teacher's approval lessens as they develop a stronger sense of self and find validation in other areas, like friendships, hobbies, or part-time jobs. They learn that their worth isn't defined by a gold star or a well done on their paper. So the next time you see a so-called teacher's pet, maybe take a moment to look beyond the stereotype. Are they driven by a need for approval, a genuine passion for the subject, a conscientious personality, or a need for social connection? It's likely a complex mix of all these things. They aren't just one-dimensional characters from a high school movie. They're individuals navigating the complex psychological landscape of school, just like everyone else. Their strategies for navigating it just happen to be more visible. In the end, the psychology of a teacher's pet is a fascinating window into motivation, personality, and social dynamics. It reminds us that behavior is rarely as simple as it seems on the surface. It challenges us to be a little more empathetic and a little less judgmental, both in our memories of school and in our interactions today. After all, a little bit of passion for learning and a desire to do well are things we could all probably use a bit more of. What are your thoughts? Were you a teacher's pet, or did you know one? Share your stories and perspectives in the comments below. I'd love to read them. Thanks for watching, and if you found this interesting, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the psychology of everyday life. See you in the next one.